Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast on January 23rd, 2016. And today we're going to talk about a very sensitive subject, Black Lives Matter. So, what is Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter is an international activist movement originating in the African American community that campaigns against violence towards black people. How did this start? In 2013, the movement began with the use of hashtag Black Lives Matter on social media after George Zimmerman's case, who shot Trayvon Martin, an innocent black kid, for doing nothing, and who was also pleaded not guilty in a court. So, in the summer of 2013, after George Zimmerman's shooting of Trayvon Martin, the movement began for the hashtag Black Lives Matter. So, who is Trayvon Martin, and why does he matter? Trayvon Benjamin Martin was a 17-year-old African American from Miami Gardens, Florida, who was fatally shot by George Zimmerman, a neighborhood watch volunteer in Sanford, Florida. Martin, who was serving a school suspension, had gone with his father to visit a father's fiancée at her townhouse in Sanford on the evening of February 26. Martin went to a convenience store and purchased candy with a canned drink. As Martin returned from the store, he walked from a neighborhood that has been victimized by robbery several times that year. Zimmerman, a member of the community watch, spotted him and called the Sanford police to report him for suspicious behavior. Moments later, there was an altercation between two individuals, which Martin was shot in the chest. Zimmerman, who was injured in the altercation, was not charged by the Sanford police. Martin, which is an innocent little kid who just bought soda and candy from a convenience store, he didn't know his death was coming because of racism. And that's how Black Lives Matter started. The movement was co-founded by three black community organizers, Alicia Garza, Patrisse Cullors, and Opal Tometi. BLM drew inspiration from the African American Civil Rights Movement and the Black Power movement. Also, there are lots of incidents where in 2015, the death of Freddie Gray in Baltimore, Maryland. So, what happened in this death that sparked even more from Trayvon Martin's death? So, Freddie Carlos Gray Jr. was arrested by the Baltimore police for possessing what police alleged was a legal switchblade. While being transported in a police van, Gray fell in a coma and taken to the trauma hospital. And Gray died on April 19, 2015. His death was ascribed to injuries at the spinal cord. Pending investigation of the incident, 6 Baltimore police officers were suspended with pay. So, what happened to this Freddie Gray? Police encountered Freddie Gray in the morning of April 12, 2015, who had been carrying an illegal switchblade, which Gray was being placed in a transport truck within 11 minutes of his arrest, and within 30 minutes paramedics were summoned to take Gray in a hospital. The media has suggested a possibility of a rough ride, an unsanctioned practice where a handcuffed prisoner is placed without a seatbelt in an erratically driven vehicle as a contributing factor in Gray's injuries. which means that they didn't care about him and was recklessly driving, and he didn't even put a seatbelt on him. Another death, which sparked the Black Matters community, was the death of Eric Gardner. On July 17, 2014, Eric Gardner died in Staten Island, New York City, after a New York Police Department officer who had put him in described as a chokehold about 15 or 19 seconds while arresting him. The New York City Medical Examiner's Office attributed Gardner's death as a combination of a chokehold, compression of his chest, and poor health. There are videos of Eric Gardner being put in a chokehold while he died. Thus, police are being reckless with black people while arresting him, which sparked this movement. How can we stop racism and black lives getting taken by recklessness? First of all, all of these murders were obviously sparked by racism. If racism was very announced, then we couldn't have been having this. Racism is a big part of the world, and if it doesn't stop now, when will it happen? All these reckless deaths were because they were black. And if we put our voices out loud that racism should be stopped and that Black Lives Matter, then eventually this will be stopped. But if you don't start now, then how can it end? Black Lives Matter should be tweeted out, and we should spread the word of Black Lives Matter. Thank you for listening to our podcast. This is the 23rd podcast, and we'll see you again. Thank you for watching.